So today I'm going to be painting a small landscape study in gouache, and as you can see I'm just penciling my drawing here, and I'm going to share a few tips with you that have helped me out. And the first thing I do basically is to paint in light washes using midtones. So this just helps me get rid of the white of the canvas and helps me to just put the base structure in my darks and lights. So I just keep it really loose, and I don't worry too much about adding details at this point. I just want to get the rough block in of each shape and just a rough color, and then going forward I can adjust. So I'm just finishing the final block in of my base colors. I like to keep it fairly loose at this stage because going forward I know that I'm going to be adding a lot more details, so at this point it's not necessary to add those details. My next step is to paint in the darks, which you can see I'm doing here. These rocks look pretty dark right now, but I know that I'll be going over them later with lighter colors. I'm just trying to establish the values and the mood of the scene right now. I'm not too worried about the colors, even though they look kind of dark. I'm not worried about that at this stage. So you can see I've added some gray here to lighten those dark rocks. And I'm just slowly adding more details and refining the image, but still keeping it fairly loose at this stage. So remember to work from simple to complex. You don't want to add too many details in the initial stages. That's why I've just roughed in these colors very simply with large shapes. Just working on the sky. Adding some cobalt blue. It's a cold winter day, so the blues are more of a cool tone. They're not warm. Cerulean is a warm blue, so I'm not using a lot of cerulean here. I'm using a lot of cobalt with white just to keep the mood cool like it would be on a winter day. Adding some snow in the middle of the rocks here. Just trying to get a feel for the image and trying to establish the mood. I'm not exactly sure where I want to go at this point, so I'm basically just trying to put in some colors and establish some different shapes right now. Just mixing some paint for some brown for the rocks now to add a little bit of warmth. Don't want the scene to be too gloomy or too all cool. At least that's not my goal for this image. So I'm adding a little bit of warm colors to the rocks. So the next step I do is I start adding contrast to give the image depth. So by adding contrast, you push and pull, you start adding depth to the image. The darker colors come forward and the lighter colors recede. It's a general principle, but it's not always the case. So I'm just starting to, these foreground rocks, I'm starting to give them an equal value just so I can push that sky back further. And then I'm starting to lighten the sky here in the left side. And as you can see, that really starts to help the painting read better. Try and use as large a brush as you can get away with when you're painting, at least in the initial stages, so you can get colors blocked in quickly. Don't worry about adding any details. Get those big big areas filled in. So now I'm going to start introducing some detail and start painting my highlights and shadows. Just adding some detail to these rocks and the frozen river. This left cliff face, I decided to brighten it up a bit, give some snow. Felt it was a little too dark and too monotone, so I wanted to break up the surface a bit. Just going to blend the sky a bit. I'm liking the way the sky is turning out. Again, I'm pushing the right side. Felt like I needed to darken the right side because the left side was so bright. I need to force the eye to the left of the painting. Okay, my final step is to refine shapes and add the final details. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going over the image, looking for areas I might have missed, or areas I might want to sharpen some edges, add some shadows, or add some highlights. So I'm just trying to touch up all those areas before I complete the image. Also, my main focal point, I like to keep in more detail and leave other areas a little less detailed, just so it draws the viewer to the focal point. So I really enjoyed sharing some of these tips with you. I hope you were able to learn something from this video and from watching my process. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to get to as many of those as possible. Also, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone.